we are again at Santa Pod for round 2 of the front-wheel drive drag racing series. This time it's at the Street Nationals event. Those of you who saw the last programme from the Far Show will know that it was heavily rain affected. Well, you can probably see we've got dark clouds again and we've had a lot of rain. However, we've already had 2 qualifying passes and some pretty stunning runs we've had. Well, with 4 rounds of qualifying scheduled over the 2 days of the Street Nationals here at Santa Pod, we start off with a look at some of our competitors and the cars they're running this year.
Kale Priestman, and it's a Honda Civic EG Turbo. Well, turboed it, different pistons, rods, slave block, everything needs to go fast really. Well, there's a lot of other good cars out there this year, so should do all right. But I was pretty decent last year, so should be happy with it.
My name's Amy Bradley and I drive a supercharged Honda Civic Type-R with nitrous. It's currently running at 362 brake, that's with the nitrous. At the minute I am actually currently building another car at the minute. This is just because my other car's not ready, this is why I'm actually racing this car, just so I can get points and stuff. Gone into entering the competition rather than just doing the normal run what you brung.
I'm Matthew Simonite and it's a 93 Honda Civic with a single cam D series engine built by Racetech Motorsport in Sheffield. Well, this is a new car for this year. My old car was a Del Sol, which was a mid 12-second car, but it was more of a street car. So this year we've gone for an out-and-out racer, swapped it onto race fuel and just stripped everything out of it basically and put all the safety gear in and come racing. So this is the first dry day we've had, so today we'll see the times what we're going to be getting for the year.
This is Matthew in his first qualifying run, really more of a checkout pass. All seems to be going nicely there with a gentle 11.97 at 126 miles per hour. But back in the pits, it seems there's already feverish action around the Saab-powered Corsa of Team Ben and Nathan. The reason? This is what happened on their first qualifying run. First and second seemed fine, then the shift into third, and big problems.
I think they've broken the drive shaft on the driver's side. So we're going to take it out and then try and replace it with a new one and see from there.
Still in qualifying, of course, and Keel Priestman putting in this storming 9-second run straight off the trailer. So, Keel, how have you made this transformation from being a keen run what you brunger to a racing driver? What was it that pushed you over?
Well, we had a lot of help from sponsors and things, so they want us to race in this. I wanted to race in it, but funds were a bit tight, so we had help from Tegway Imports, and they've helped us out a lot with roll cage things and a lot of the safety procedures that we need to do, so they've helped us out a lot.
Brilliant. Well, running any front-wheel drive car sub-11s is difficult, and running 9s, you're only about the 4th or 5th driver in the UK that I know that's done it. Yeah. A huge amount of effort and money, or did it come relatively easy?
It's took a while, but it didn't really. Everything come together and it's worked right. So what we've done, we've got a lot of help from my friends, my brother and things. So everything does seem to work. But
Nathan, that's the first time you've broken anything in a drivetrain for a couple of years, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not been too bad at the moment. I don't know, perhaps the track was a bit sticky or just a weak joint.
And boost coming in third gear, normally we'd expect that to happen sort of in first or second gear.
Yeah, perhaps it weakened it maybe off the start, and then just the boost in third gear was a bit too much for it. So.
But you coped all right with it? It looked like a big steering correction you had to put in?
Yeah, it just pulled me over as soon as it broke, but I realised what happened and corrected it the other way, so it wasn't too bad.
Well, a Corsa is an unusual drag racing vehicle, and what's even more unusual about yours is the engine choice. 2.3 litres of Saab power with home tuning and a bit of upgrade turbo. Why did you go this route?
Probably just the budget, really. This is sort of the most cost-effective way for the amount of power, and easily tunable with the right sort of software, and that's pretty much it really. Just the budget, keep it down, nice and simple.
And the engine's bulletproof, basically. You can throw 500 horsepower at it and it shouldn't damage it at all.
It should take about 500 horsepower on a standard internals.
So into the final qualifying session on Sunday morning, and a couple more drivers have made it to the track. Repairs seem to be holding for young Nathan there. Definitely heading back in the right direction for them. Andy Nichols, who's been a bit careful, making sure that dog box doesn't get blown to pieces before the eliminations. This is definitely looking more like the form we'd expect to see from the little MG. Yes, sweetly into the 10s. So new boy to the racing scene then, but no stranger to Santa Pod and Run What We Brung. Calvin's been impressing everybody this weekend. That's a real pocket rocket. And back into the 9s again for him. And here is his main rival at this round then. Keel again, another driver just knocking out 9s, left, right and centre. Not on this one though. Tom Barnes has been racing this car for about 4 or 5 seasons for the team's owner, Paul Webster. He knows the car inside and out, and now he's got an extra 100 odd horsepower to play with. Well, one of the teams that was working right up to the last minute was the 1320mini.com with their Mini 1 machine. It's raced in various classes over the years, but now they've gone big power, and they were on the dyno right at the last minute. Tom, you're the driver and also the man responsible for a lot of the fabrication work on here. You were spending dyno time right up until you loaded it on the trailer. What were you getting at the front wheels?
We ended up with 402 at the wheels, which we're really happy with. But we're ultra safe. We didn't get a chance to run it on race fuel, so we're on pump gas. Very conservative. We don't want to come here and break it. We just want to try and start learning about the car now.
Because you've got to do some remapping stuff, and we saw that on the last qualifier. The car ran through with a stunning 1266 with what sounded like a misfire, but obviously it's the parameters you've got set, yeah?
We're playing around with the way the boost controller works, so we're probably going to leave the car alone just for this weekend, because we know 124 is the best the car's gone, to try and concentrate on the first 8th mile, and then we'll worry about the issues with the boost controller for the next round. Okay, and the aim with the car is to beat the American, who's gone very fast, who I believe has run a 10.3 with a Mini 1, yeah? Hubie's a really good friend of ours, and it's really kind of inspiring us to go fast, so yeah, if we can beat Hubie, it'd be amazing. Well, Amy's the first girl that I know of who's got into the front-wheel drive class. We've had a few ladies in other classes within the modified scene. But let's see how she's doing in terms of out there in competition. You've yet to have a go at elimination round, I'm guessing. But you've gone through the qualifying. You still feeling confident?
Yeah, now that I've done my personal best was a 12.2, but it is actually a 12.0 now. So, yeah, I am feeling confident, even though I have got the slowest car in the competition at the minute. Well, you say the slowest car, but you've got consistency on your side. The way you change gears, but most of these guys who've been doing it for a long time at competition level, to shame, quite frankly. You've got about 5 years background in Run What You Brung, yeah? Yeah. I got my Civic in 2008. Wasn't very good to start off with, but I come back and got better and better. Then I had some tuning work done by Guy at CPL Racing, and then that's how it is now. Well, a 12.0 is very, very rapid for any road car. And I understand you've got a new car underway. Will that still be a road car, or will it be a pure race car? Just a pure race car, yeah. So I have to ask, what are your ultimate aims then? What sort of speeds would you like to be running, and the ETs you're aiming for? Well, you've got to kind of keep up with these EGs now. So, yeah, we're building a B18 turbo for my EG. Hopefully going to try and get around about 700 brake. So hopefully maybe like a low 10. Well, this is the final qualifier then for Matthew Simonite. Keep your eyes peeled on the car as it goes through the top end. Oof, there goes a window. Matthew, was that a bit of a surprise?
Yeah, we had a bit of an issue at Fasher where the top of the window came out. Well, we thought we'd got around it by a few more screws and a bit more of the seal, but obviously we're doing a lot more speeds than what we were doing then, and the speeds were a bit too much for it, and it pulled it all the way out. So
well, it hasn't broken, it's going back in nicely. Now, it looked to me yesterday that you were doing checkout passes rather than struggling and just gradually bringing the power in. Was that a good guess?
Well, kind of, yeah. The car was finished Friday, and it's a new engine running, but yesterday was not much grip. The track wasn't prepped, and it was just setting the boost controller for the launch. We've turned it up slightly, and it's cut the 60 foot by 2/10, and I did an 11.9 yesterday, so it's knocked 8/10 off the run. Put a little bit more boost in third as well, because the track's prepped and it's gripping a lot better now. So yeah, hopefully we can come back and get a 10 later today, and that'll be another PB.
Well, we've had 4 fantastic rounds of qualifier and some quite frankly stunning runs. I think we've had 4 or 5 down into the 9s. It's brilliant. And we're now moving forward into the eliminations proper with gorgeous weather promised. This afternoon is going to look very good indeed. Well, as we wait for those cars to take to the track, here is the final qualifying table. And it's very close indeed at the top between Keel and Kelvin. So that gives us our first round pairings with number 1 qualifier Keel getting the bye. Well, he was only a few hundredths of a second quicker in the qualifying, but with this bye run he could choose to go flat out or just conserve fuel and parts, which it looks like he's doing a combination of the 2 on this run. A gentle start, but bringing a power in at the top end.
No burnout, so not the traction he's used to. Look at that, as lazy as...
Next up, Nathan Ringwood in that little Corsa against the favourite for this pairing, surely Matthew Simonite in the Civic, who's been doing some pretty impressive runs. Well, Nathan's going to need to cut a good light, get through those gears and bring that boost in quick to stand a hoping hell's chance here. It's not exactly the perfect start he was hoping for. Well, he is making a comeback there, but I think, yeah, here comes the boost for the Civic, and it's an easy win for Matthew. Kelvin Skerritt with his trademark incredible burnouts up against Tom Barnes in the 1320mini.com Mini 1. Tom seemed to almost roll the lights there. He got a better start, but look at that Civic fly. Well, a little bit of a comeback there for the Mini at the top end, but I think it's all a bit too late. Yeah, Kelvin takes the win.
10:55 at 131 miles an hour.
Well, here's Amy then. She drove that car all the way from her hometown, about a 2.5 hour drive. Andy Nichols has been a dedicated drag car for the last 4 seasons. Now, this is not necessarily going to be a favourite on paper win here, because Andy's got loads of power, but he's had problems with the gearbox in the past, and we've seen Amy be very consistent, great on the lights, fantastic gear changes. Well, it is Andy out in front. Amy has run a PB this weekend, but it's not going to be enough to cover the power. Well, Andy Nichols, I think probably the most experienced run what you've brung and then drag racer, because he's been competing seriously now for a number of years, but he's had a few issues and not had much track time. Andy, we saw you struggling a little in the qualifiers while you were gradually bringing the power in. How's things going?
Still trying to turn the power down. Every run we're taking 10% off the wastegate duty cycle to try and get it to hook up, but the problem is you go too far and it starts bogging, and it is, you know yourself, the game's over. So I'd sooner have it spin a little bit moving forward than bogging and not going anywhere. So, and
basically you're racing today. The ET is irrelevant. You just got to get to the other end first, and your experience is more than the others, and your reaction times are pretty good these days.
They normally are, but that last run was a 0.5 reaction, as you know. They ain't going to do me any favours. If I can do me 0.2 normal, 0.1, I've got a good chance of holding them off at the top end, because them other 2 Hondas now are seriously quick. 9 second, 150 plus mile an hour cars.
Well, Ben and Nathan have been working on the tuning on the little Corsa, and they've got the power. Then they swapped over to the slicks. Finally, they've got some traction, but it's done the clutch. So I don't know whether this is good news or bad news, really.
Well, it's a bit annoying because we had some clutch on order, and we've had it on order for 6 months and it hasn't turned out, but what can you do?
It is one of those things, but now all the different components are all working. The suspension's working, you're getting the grip, you've got the power, so once that clutch eventually turns up, you're going to be right down into the tens, aren't you?
Hopefully, yeah, that's the plan, so we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Well, we finally caught up with Kelvin after trying to track him down all morning. He's been a busy boy. Just as he was strapping in for the last round, well, he made it through, but not with the quickest time as we'd seen in qualifying. So, Kelvin, any idea what the issue was on that run?
I was just trying to get through, not push too hard. So I just took it easy on that run.
So it's all there for another 9 in the next round, or are you going to be the sensible racer as opposed to the guy looking for the big ETs?
Yeah. It depends who I'm running next. If it's someone who's going to go fast, then I'll go for it. If not, I'll take my time. I'll try to get through to another round.
So we're into our semi-finals then. And we promised to have a couple of really close races coming our way. Matthew Simonite up against Keel Priestman. Well, not a big burnout there from Keel. Matthew's already. Reaction times almost identical there. Both cars leaving the line. You can see the obvious power advantage that Keel's got there, but a slight gear shift problem. Oh, this is close at the top end. But it is Keel who takes the win by the smallest of margins on the finishing line. Our last semi-final then, here's Kelvin up against Andy Nichols. Well, this is going to be a hard one to judge then. Obviously, we've seen Andy's car about half to 3/4 second down on what Kelvin's been running. But we've got to take into account that vast amount of experience that the MG driver's got. And it's very close. Up to the halfway track, it's difficult to see who it's going to be. Is that Civic making a charge back at the top end? Wow, what a race. Oh, and the door tops come off as well. What a way to take the win. It is Kelvin who takes the win with his car falling apart at the finish line.
Both of them fighting the...
So as we wait for the finals, time for a quick look around the rest of the Street Nationals here at Santa Pod. Well, we've made it through to the finals of the front-wheel drive drag series. Fantastic news up until the point when it's just started raining. It doesn't look too heavy at the moment, so we'll catch up with our two finalists. We'll start off with Keel, and you've done some mighty impressive runs this weekend. In fact, I would say that it's almost been a textbook weekend for you. No grief at all.
Well, I've had a few problems to the end. Right today, really. Yesterday was okay, to 9/8s and things like that, but today we've had a problem with boost and things like that, so we're hoping to get something out of this, but I don't think it's looking good, to be fair.
Well, Kelvin, it looked at one point this weekend that you were not going to be able to run at all, but you managed to get round that. You've come out, you've impressed absolutely everybody's been talking about your car this weekend, and you've made it through to the final. Did you expect that?
No, I didn't at all. I didn't expect to run. I already gave up hope on running. I was thinking to running next round, but Neil helped me and gave me a helmet, so I got to thank Neil for giving me a helmet.
And Kelvin was referring to Neil Saunders, the organiser for the front-wheel drive drag racing series. Well, this is it then. This is our final. The two cars that have been knocking down way into the nines all weekend, and a new door fitted there to Kelvin's car after that little incident on his semi-final run. All going to be in the reaction times. Who gets away first? Well, it's next to nothing in it. These cars are literally alongside each other. Perfect gear changes from both drivers. Nobody got the distinct advantage. This is so close, but at the top end it's Keel who takes the win.
Nice, it's good weekend. I'm happy with the outcome, so can't wait for round 3. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, it was a bit close in the end, but we didn't think we were going to get out, to be honest, with the weather, but yeah, it's all come together.
And the boost controller held there for you?
Yeah, it did. I knocked quite a bit of boost out of 4th gear because I didn't want it coming in again, spiking up too high. So it took quite a bit out of 4th. But we got there in the end, so...
And it was one heck of a race. You were alongside each other the whole way down. Well, it was a perfect finish. to a perfect day. It was round 2 before we got to see it racing proper, but it was quality. All the qualifying was brilliant, and that final, it was sweetness itself. Can't wait for round 3.